Hi guys, it's Fights I Hear with yet another video, and today we're breaking down one of the greatest middleweight contenders of this generation, Sergiy the Technician, Derevyanchenko. For the record, I'm calling him Sergiy D from this point out. I'm pretty sure I butchered the pronunciation of his last name, but fuck it. Let's start off with Sergiy D's extensive amateur background. He went 390-20, over 410 amateur fights. He won bronze at the World Championships in 2007 in Chicago, 2008 Olympian, as well as participating in 24 bouts in the World Series of Boxing, which is a semi-pro organization between the years of 2010 and 2014, winning 23 out of 24 bouts and being considered one of the best boxers in that tournament, other than Brian Castano, who had a draw with Jermell Charlo and was the unified champ at one point. So that just kind of shows you the level Sergiy D is on. Just to round out his intro, close fights usually don't go his way. I'm going to go over that a little later, but it also kind of goes back to the whole corruption in boxing. Some of his losses are definitely close. Not all of them, though. Not all of them are that close. I'm going to go over that in a little while. So the best way I could describe Sergiy D's style is he has a mixture of the Soviet style and the American style, aka the Ukrainian style. The reason I call it this is because you see Lomachenko fight like Sergiy D, just out of southpaw. You see Usyk, who's the current heavyweight champion of the world, fight like Sergiy D, but southpaw. They both fight in very similar ways, constantly cutting and changing angles. Very good footwork, very good lateral movement, very disciplined fundamentals like the jab and such, etc. Very much like a great Soviet fighter, Sergiy D has a great disciplined jab. Like an American fighter, he'll use constant head slips to shift weight from either leg to load up that hand and to move his head off the center line and make him a harder target to hit. Constant pivots, like I mentioned before. Great lateral movement. He moves around the ring perfectly. You saw him giving guys like Jaime Munguia a lot of trouble with his movement, lateral movement. By the Munguia fight, he had definitely gotten a step or two slower, but I'd say starting with his first loss, the Danny Jacobs fight, right up until maybe his last loss, Carlos Adames. I mean, I would consider his probably prime Sergiy D around 2018 to maybe 2021, 2022 is probably his prime. He's in physical controls too. Nothing to really write home about, but he'll use arm nudges and things of that nature on the inside. He has a great judge of distance as well. I feel like in the Danny Jacobs fight, he looked pretty damn good, his footwork, but he wasn't slipping his head as much, and his judge of distance wasn't nearly as good as in his later fights. That's because Andre Rozier was in the corner of Danny Jacobs, and after that fight, I'm pretty sure Sergiy D acquired Andre Rozier as his trainer because Andre Rozier saw the potential in Sergiy D. And you saw great improvements because his judge of distance was pretty much perfect in most of the fights he was in after that, even the ones he quote-unquote lost, which I'm going to get into right now. Now time to get into the main problem with Sergiy D. He has a weak base / bad bounce. Every time he's in a very important fight, either extremely close, title eliminator, or a title fight, that people were like, well, the old axiom, boxing axiom, where if it wasn't for the knockdown or if it wasn't for that 10-8, he would have won, that kind of stuff. It's a little frustrating being a fan of the guy. He's got to seriously work on his balance because he had that Jaime Munguia fight in the bag, and without the knockdown, if you do the math, without that knockdown, he would have won that fight against Jaime Munguia, but he got knocked down and really fucked up his chances of winning that fight. Not like he could have at least challenged for another world title. Not like he would have became a world champ, but he could have challenged for another world title. But the knockdown really solidified everything. In boxing, sometimes it's not all about world champs. Sometimes the contenders are just as good as, if not better than, the champs. Whether it's due to bad luck or the division being too stacked, they don't end up becoming world champ. Take, for example, Sergiy's fight with Triple G. No way, and I'm a big fan of Triple G, but no way that fight should have gone in favor of Triple G. That being said, Sergiy should always be remembered as one of the best middleweight contenders of this generation, as well as being a very thrilling fighter to watch. Fight Size signing out.